If you're feeling overwhelmed trying to juggle a full caseload as an RBT or BCBA, you are not alone. The good news is you can manage it effectively without burnout or with minimal burnout. In this video, I will be sharing all of my top strategies to help you stay organized, increase efficiency, and maintain a work-life balance. You guys know I know all about the work-life balance. Not only have I had to manage a full caseload, but I've also had to manage multiple streams of income or multiple jobs. Hey, I'm not a fairy out here with magic powers. I just have really great time management skills, and I've learned how to be organized over the course of the last 14 years of having to juggle this role. And I'm going to share all of my tips with you during this video. But before we get started, please do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Did you know that 70% of you guys who are watching this video are not subscribed? I'm gonna need you to subscribe, right? And I need you to click that notification bell. That way you get notified on when I upload new content. We know it's only gonna get better. All right, let's get right into it. 1, time block your schedule. Set specific time slots for anything that could come up, anything that a BCBA or an RBT is responsible to do on a daily or on a weekly basis. You need to set a time block for that task. Whether that's direct sessions. Hey, I do direct sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock. That time cannot be moved. Or supervision sessions. I see supervisees every week or every other week. I do individual supervision one week. I do group supervision the other week. That way I clear up some of my time every other week because it's not full of back-to-back meetings. But set that specific time. Analyzing data. Set out specific time to analyze data. Set out specific time to catch up on your emails. Set out specific time to fill in your calendar for this time. So sometimes on Monday, after my Monday debrief meeting with the team, I take the first 2 hours to just look through all of my emails to see what is my week going to look like, right? Now, sometimes that carries over from the week before, or I have a monthly schedule, and from the month, I need to pull down tasks to work on that day, but you need to set a time just to make a schedule. And you definitely want to set time for writing your reports, especially because those are usually on a more strict timeline. So if you keep procrastinating like me and putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, then it's never going to get done and you're going to be up to midnight writing a treatment plan. No, say on Wednesday from 9 a.m. until 12:30, I am going to knock out this treatment plan. So set blocks of time in your day, in your month, and in your week, and do not deviate from that schedule to make sure all of the non-negotiable things get done. That way, when people start easing things onto your schedule and delegating things and pushing things off to you, which they will, then you will know exactly where they can fit in because your things are non-negotiable. So you can say, hey, I'm actually working on this really big project. I have this deadline due. I actually have no availability in my week this week, but I can do that. I can have that for you next week by Tuesday at 12 o'clock. And then put that on your schedule as well. If it's not on the schedule, it's not happening. Number 2, use the 80-20 rule. That's when you focus 20% of your energy on a project that is 80% priority. Focus 20% on your energy on those big projects, those treatment plans, those reauthorizations, those parent trainings, things that are non-negotiable. You definitely want to focus your energy on those things, even if it's 20% of your day. Do that over busy work. I know the materials have to be made. I know that they want you to come down and be a part of this meeting that really has nothing to do with you, but 20% of your day should definitely be delegated to those big ticket items. Number 3, create a weekly game plan. So kind of what I talked about in number 1, did we just schedule time to make a schedule? Yes, we did. Sometimes I do this on Sunday, my Sunday reset, where I look through my calendar and I see what I have to do, and I pull it on the calendar. And then sometimes I just wait until Monday morning and I just take a couple hours out of my day and I put everything on the calendar that needs to be put on the calendar. Now, this could be weekly, daily, or monthly, right? So at the beginning of the month or the prior month, if I know that I have 3 reauthorizations coming up, 3 huge treatment plans, 1 big 7-hour training coming up, and I haven't created the content for it, those are the big items that go on the monthly calendar, right? And then you can pull from there and put what needs to be done for each of those big items to be complete. Pull down tasks onto your weekly calendar. So for example, if I have this big training and I have to come up with the content for the training, I may not sit for a full 3 days and just work on that training if it's not due until the end of the month. But I do have to put it in my calendar for 2 hours a day, create training material. Block it out. It's non-negotiable. If I know that I have a reauthorization coming up, then I need to block out time to do an FBA. I need to block out time to talk with staff and talk with caregivers. Block out time to actually type it out, because I'm not a fast typer like everyone else. Plan to make a plan. Okay, so now we're going to talk about ways to save time while at work. This video is sponsored by HoneyBook. So HoneyBooks is a platform I use to buy back my time. And let me tell you how. Anybody who wants to book a session with me, book a parent training, book a mentorship call, supervision, they're going to be booking it through my HoneyBook, because I don't have time to sift through all of my emails and then go back and forth. Does Tuesday work for you? Does Wednesday work for you? No. I'm going to send you my schedule and I'm going to say, hey, put something on my schedule. It sends out my invoices. It creates my brochures. It sends out reminders to anyone who has scheduled a meeting with me. So it works as like my mini assistant. When you pay for it, it keeps all of your information stored and safe. It automates my workflow. So remember, I talked about software that's just going to help your job be a lot easier. This is one that does that for me. Like I said, when people email me and message me and they're trying to get to me, I don't always have the time to email everyone back. So if you have a question specifically for this, then this is the automatic response you're going to get. If you have a question for this, then it's going to send you here. It's going to send you to this brochure. It's going to send you to this. So it automates everything you need. So you can kind of just sit back and do your work and not everybody else's work. I'm going to drop a link for HoneyBook in the description if you want to check it out, and let them know Dom the BCBA mom sent you. So the first thing you can do is try to come up, like if your company already doesn't have this, try to create a data collecting system where you don't have to put the data in every single time and create graphs every single time. Try to create some type of formula in Excel where the data auto-populates as soon as you put it in. Try to use some AI tools like ChatGPT or Typeset or AI notarizer that'll come into your meeting and take notes for you, right? In this time that we're living in, we still want to work smarter and not harder. So if we have smart devices out here that are looking to make our job a lot easier, utilize those resources so that you can spend your job doing things that AI can't do, like actually seeing your clients and having those sessions and having those parent trainings. If you're looking for some digital tools for graphing, something like graphing apps, Catalyst, Central Reach, there are a lot of platforms out here that can give you some of your time back. If you're not in the position to make that decision, then bring it to your supervisor, bring it to the CEO and say, hey, I've noticed that I'm spending an hour and a half on data collection. I think we would be saving a lot of money if we would invest in this data collection software. And then it also may increase accurate data collection. Next, you want to batch your session prep. So if you have to prep for each session, whether that's direct therapy or you're preparing for a supervision session, you're preparing for a parent training, whatever that looks like, instead of creating day by day what you're going to do, just spend a couple hours one day and create materials for everyone. And then let's say if you have 3 supervisees that you're seeing that week, then it's okay to say, everybody I see this week, we're going to be talking about negative reinforcements and schedules of reinforcement. And then next week, everyone I see, we're going to talk about this. So it's okay to individualize it when you need it, but when you are trying to buy your time back, you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time, right? So just as long as you guys are covering the material that you need to cover, just as long as you're running the goals, you can see what other client has similar goals, and then you can create material for both of those at the same time. That's one way of buying your time back. Another thing that I do, when I do my session notes, typically my session notes look pretty much the same because we're working on the same goal for a good period of time, for at least a couple of weeks or a month, or because I work with adults, we may be working on the same goal for a long time. So my session notes, each day looks different. The month may look the same from month to month. So I already pre-populate what my session notes will look like. I know I'm going to be doing an observation. I know I'm going to do some data collection, preparation for training, do some research and review their files and do an ecological assessment. I know I have to get ready to present all of this information to their psychiatrist. Like, these are things that I do on a monthly basis. So I have all of those session notes already in an archive. So when it's time to bring them over, boom, copy and paste, individualize it to meet whatever happened differently in that day. But you're not reinventing the wheel every single time. Another one is maximize natural environment training, right? So we can do that with our clients, or we can do that with our supervisees. We don't have to plan out every single day of their lives, because that doesn't help with generalization. If you see a kiddo who came in with his favorite toy, well, guess what we're doing today? We're playing with your favorite toy. We're learning how to mand, we're learning how to tact, we're learning intraverbals, we're learning how to imitate. We're doing all of the skills we were going to learn anyway, but we're going to do that with your favorite toy. Same with supervision. You can ask the question, what are you guys doing at your site? What are you guys doing in your sessions? Okay, well, that's what our supervision session is going to be about. What's going on in your natural environment? And then how can you apply ABA to that? Everything doesn't have to be curated by you every single moment. Buy some of your time back. Another way to help manage your time is to delegate. So as BCBAs, we are teachers, we are supervisors. Whether you've taken the 8-hour course or not, people are looking to you to learn. So help them by delegating small tasks to them. So if you have someone on your team who wants to learn more about antecedent procedures, okay, cool. I'm going to allow you to write the antecedent strategies of this behavior plan. Of course, I'm going to supervise your work. I'm going to model it for you. I'm going to give you feedback. I'm going to do all the BST training that you need. But once you learn that skill set, now I can give you another treatment plan and you can write the antecedent strategy. And then I can give you another. And you see how I just freed up my day, but I'm also teaching you a skill that you're going to need in your everyday life. This is also when you are providing supervision. When I'm providing supervision, a lot of the times I'll say, hey, in the next session, I expect you to come up with an agenda of what we're talking about for our supervision contact. So I'm not coming up with every single thing that we're talking about. You have access to the same task list that I have. You know what your strengths and your weaknesses are. So I need you to bring that to me, and I need you to come with an agenda. That's another way to delegate so that you're not doing everything. Next, we're going to talk about setting boundaries. That is a great way to manage a heavy caseload, right? If you say, hey, I don't start seeing clients until 10 o'clock because I have to take my kids to school, or I go to physical therapy, or I'm in this really intensive yoga class, whatever it is that brings you joy. That is your boundary. That is your boundary to set. So set those boundaries. I don't answer work emails over the weekend. That is a boundary. So if you choose to amend those boundaries because for some reason you are falling behind on something, or you need to get caught up, or you want to get ahead in something, then you have the option to do that. That is the exception, not the rule. Try not to schedule meetings back to back, okay? First of all, your watch will even tell you, hey, it's time to get up and move. It's time to stand, right? So we shouldn't be sitting for hours and hours, right? So let's say, for example, if you didn't get a walk-in, you didn't get a chance to get a walk-in. Whenever I go see my clients, I say, hey, who wants to go for a walk? And that's the first thing that we're doing, because I've been in the car all day driving and I'm so stiff. So schedule breaks, especially movement breaks. And if you have to do that with your client, incorporate that into your session, because they need to be incorporating movement breaks in their session as well. Another reason you don't want to schedule meetings back to back is because that's a really great way to fall behind on your session notes. So if you give yourself 15 minutes in between sessions, now you have 15 minutes to do your session notes at the end of your session. You have 15 minutes to take a stretch, or to go talk to a colleague, to go gossip if you want to, not about your clients, to go vent a little bit, to scroll your phone, do whatever you want to do, but give yourself at least those 15-minute buffers in between meetings, so that you can give your body whatever it is that it needs. So I've also shared what my calendar looks like, or what it can potentially look like. And I know it may look different if you're a BCBA versus if you are an RBT, because our roles are different, right? A RBT may not have as much paperwork as a BCBA. So you may have clients back to back to back. And if you do have clients that are back to back, especially if you're going in home and you have to drive to each of these clients' house, make sure you are aware of places in the environment that you can stop that can bring you some type of reinforcement, whether that's figuring out where's the nearest coffee shop so you can sit and chill in between sessions, figuring out where your favorite restaurants are so you can have a decent meal while you wait. Me, personally, this is just my thing. I know where all the malls are in Illinois, because that's a thing for me. In between sessions, I like to just walk in the malls, get my steps in, look at the latest fashion, and now I'm like a mall connoisseur. So if you do have a heavy schedule where you have meetings back to back and you're out in the community, find places within the community where you can contact that reinforcement. If you're working in a clinic and you feel like you have a heavy caseload, bring things in from home that will help you contact that reinforcement. Or ask if you can play with some of the sensory items that the kiddos are not using at the time. So whenever you have your break, you go into the sensory room, you get on the beanbag chair, you swing in the swing, you take a walk, you listen to your music, you put on your noise canceling headphones. Whatever you would advocate for your client, do that for yourself, and that will also help lighten the load. Some of these things are inevitable. I remember one time I had a 25-person caseload, but I actually brought that on myself, because at first I had 19 clients, and then I asked for more because, first of all, I wanted to make more money. I had a financial goal that I wanted to meet. So sometimes having a heavy caseload, or having not so much of a work-life balance, that can be inevitable, right? But put a deadline on it. Say, hey, I'm going to pick up these extra clients. I'm going to pick up these extra hours. I'm going to exceed my billable hours. I'm going to go above and beyond, but I'm only going to do that for 6 months until I meet my financial goal so I can pay my car off. I'm only going to do that until they finally onboard this new BCBA. So make sure, once again, it goes back to setting your boundaries. Now, if you just want to work all day, every day for the rest of your life, by all means, if that's your ministry, do that. But I don't think that's going to be healthy for anyone in our field because burnout is real. So sometimes these situations are inevitable. You have paperwork piled up high and it has heavy due dates. And once you get it done, then there should be a week or a few days when you're like, I get to relax more. I get to take more walks. I get to take an hour lunch break. I get to take CEUs and pour back into myself, right? So sometimes we have to do this time, but put an expiration date on how long you are going to be overworking yourself if that's something that you can't control right now. Managing a full caseload is not easy, but with some of these strategies, you can stay on top of your workload while avoiding burnout. Which tip resonated with you most? Drop it in the comments. And if you got anything from this video, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video, share it with a friend, turn on that notification bell, and I will see you on the next one.